What's good, people? Spud here, and welcome to episode 5 of the Roundup Extra. Obviously, I said we'd do one during the major, and then one after the major, so like after the Roundup. So it's basically two this week. Um, in this one, we're going to just talk about Felo. We're not going to talk about. Well, it's going to be like a mixture of teams because we're going to talk about the player that I will be absolutely shocked if they are not in the league for Major 3, and that is Felo, who obviously was on the Carolina Roll Ravens last year. Did pretty good on LAN. His online statistics were a bit iffy, same with Claire, but they were both pretty good on LAN last year for the Ravens. So, we're going to talk, like, it. Obviously, these are really short videos, so we won't really have time to discuss like too much of each series and that, but we're going to start with Minnesota Rocker because I think this is the team where I fully expect Fellow will probably go to. Um, Obviously, Paul X was already on the chopping block before Major 1. He did okay at the LAN, and they've kept him for the entire Major 2 split, and now obviously just got top 12, got absolutely destroyed by FaZe and Optic. And Paul X, yeah, Nero had a bad series against Optic, but Nero should not be anywhere near losing his spot. Paul X though he should have lost it even after Major 1. But like I've said, there's barely been any roster changes this year. It feels like teams aren't spending as much to try and push on to the next level. But I expected a lot of roster mania changes this time around. So I'm expecting the roundup after we've done the major review to be really, really interesting. So yeah, I could definitely see Felo on this Minnesota Rocket team. Obviously the main AR. Obviously Gio and Nero played with the Taps last year, who was a similar type of player to Felo. Felo's challenger stats are very impressive. Now obviously Challengers Open is on at the moment as well. So I think if like Felo's team win that, I think that'll be even more chance of him going into the league. Um, the next team we're going to talk about is the LAG, the Los Angeles Gorilla Mates, because they're horrific as well. 3-0, another top 12 finish. At this moment in time, they have no chance of making champs. So what do they decide to do? Priester is not good enough. Priester shouldn't have even got on a roster this year. Luna's, yeah, give him time. I would have Fellow in. I would be getting rid of Linz and Priester for Fellow and Hugh, but they probably won't do that. This is definitely another possibility though for Fellow to get onto a roster. This is the thing for Fellow. I think he has genuinely 3 teams. I mean, you could argue maybe 4 with what's coming up in the next 2 minutes of this segment of this video, but I think I'm doing them in basically in order of like how likely it is to happen. So obviously, yeah, I think that Rocker's the most likely. I think LAG is definitely an option as well. Obviously, he'd have Kismet there, who's obviously a good player, but he can't do everything on his own. But yeah, it's very rough, very rough. I mean, we talk about D-Real being one of the best coaches in Call of Duty, but he's not doing anything this season. Was Troy Sender Michaels the mastermind? Or was he just he doesn't have Hydra? Hydra carried the team. Right, the next place he could go is obviously we mentioned this in Roundup Extra 4, I guess, about the Vegas Falcons. Now they were horrific. They were horrific again. Exnid played well though. He deserves to be on a CDL team, regardless of what they do with the Saudi stuff now. I think he's genuinely shown he's good enough to be in this league. But if they're going to go for 2 in, 2 out, potentially and changing the format, obviously Clayster's good friends with Fellow. They were on AR duo together last year on the Ravens, so I could definitely see this as a possibility. But then again, not as much as the other two. But if he's not on a team, I'll be shocked. My other like outside contention one is going to be. I mean, look, we could maybe see the Boston Breach, but let's see how they do in winners. They beat Thieves. Like, I don't think they should change their team. Is actually the Carolina Royal Ravens. Should they decide to maybe change not TJ, sorry, Vivid, they might look to bring in a different type of AR. Now, I can't see them having Slash It and Fellow. It's a bit of a slow AR duo, but never say never in Call of Duty. Alright, so in terms of like how likely they are to 100%, I would say I would be shocked if there's not like a 70% chance that Fellow's on that Minnesota Rocker team come the third split. Obviously, his performance in this Challengers Open will definitely have an impact. If they win the event and he gets MVP, he'll be snapped up by anyone, pretty much. But there's obviously Optic fans asking about should they bring Fellow in, where I said no, I don't think he's good enough for a top tier team. But I do think he deserves to be in the league again. So let's see what happens with Fellow in the next 6 days, I guess, after the major. But yeah, let's see what happens. Thanks for watching.